Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon. How you doing? Nice to meet you. I hope you're doing so very well. Today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated books from the months of January to March. So if you're interested in what's on my list, stick around and I'll tell you about some good books. Hello, my puppy. Hello.
She went away on Christmas Day, didn't come back till New Year.
All of these are going to be in order of the date they're released, and I'm going to leave a Goodreads list link down below in case you want to add them to your playlist. Not your playlist, your Goodreads list, your TBR, whatever you want to add it to. And I'm going to be giving short synopsises because synopses? So there will be a Goodreads list link down below in case you want to find out more about these books. I know that people don't always like to read the whole synopsis of a book and like to go in fairly blind, so I've shortened down and taken the basics of the book so as to not spoil you in case you want to read these books. The first book we have here is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This will be released on the 7th of January. In this we follow Bradley Graham and Salim Bangura. They used to be best friends until he abandoned her for the popular crowd, and that's how she sees it. She sees that he's abandoned her and all they have left is some rivalry in academics and petty insults. But when they both sign up for a survival course, they get thrown together in the woods and made to survive, and they need to decide if too much has happened for their relationship to be over or if enough time has passed that a new relationship can begin. I read The Brown Sisters by this author and absolutely loved it, so I am excited to read anything else by Talia Hibbert. I would like to work through her backlist, but I also want to keep an eye out on this release because it's definitely one that I want to read. Also, Talia Hibbert has a knack for making me laugh and enjoy myself, so that's what I'm looking for from this book. The next book I have here is The Bandit Queen by Parini Shroff. This comes out the 3rd. It is an adult mystery thriller, and this follows Gita, whose no good husband ends up disappearing, and with this comes a newfound freedom because she can do whatever she wants and people kind of fear her. So she's like living the high life after this happens, until women in the village start to ask for her help to get rid of their no good husbands. And when the asking turns into not polite, things start kicking off, and I am up for this. I mean, I want to know what actually happened to her husband. I want to know if she helps the other women. I want to know how this all unfolds, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It sounds really good. Also, it's a new to me author, which will be exciting. The next book is All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This comes out on the 10th and it is an adult mystery thriller. And this is by Stacey Willingham, who wrote A Flicker in the Dark. I really enjoyed that this year, the 2022. So I am excited to see what this author does next. And in this book, we follow Isabel Drake, whose life changed forever when her toddler son Mason disappeared in the middle of the night when her and her husband were sleeping. So she then goes into full-on crisis mode and won't sleep, won't eat, barely does anything apart from look for her son. And this results in blackouts and loss of time. So when she is asked by a podcaster to come on to his podcast to help bring Mason's case back into the light, she does so. Then she starts to doubt her own memories of the night that Mason disappeared, and she starts to believe that there's so many lies and secrets that she has yet to uncover. And I'm just like, sign me up. I really enjoyed the first book from this author that I read, and this sounds interesting, and I hope it's executed as well as the first book. The next book we have here is Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. This will be out on the 10th. It is an adult mystery thriller. There is a lot of them on my list this year. I feel like this year there's been a huge shift in my reading. When I first discovered BookTube, I used to read a lot of YA. And now I feel like I'm reaching more for adult and I'm reaching more for contemporary. And I just don't know if it's because it takes a lot for a fantasy to really grip me now, and it's so frustrating because I used to read mainly YA fantasy, and now I'm struggling to find one that just screams at me, and it's sad. But I'm not mad about all the mystery thrillers I've managed to read and get on my list because they all sound great. In Just the Nicest Couple, we follow two couples, two friends, and Nina is beside herself when her husband Jake goes missing. And is it Jake? It's Jake. Beside herself when her husband Jake goes missing, and she is freaking out. She thinks he just went to let off steam because they had an argument, but then he just doesn't return, and she is losing her shit. Then we meet Lily Scott, who is Nina's co-worker and friend, and she seems to be the last one to see Jake alive. And when she goes to her husband to tell him everything, they decide that Nina can never find out what they know. I'm like, okay, yep, cool, I want to know what's happened, you have me, I'm in, okay? The next book we have here is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This comes out on the 19th, and it is an adult fantasy. In this, we follow Kissin, who kills gods for a living. But when she stumbles upon a god that she can't kill, the god of white lies, she then has to go on an adventure with a god and an even littler god, a noble girl on the run. This is when Alogast, someone who fought in the God War, is approached to take on a quest. But in his quest, he then stumbles upon a god, an even littler god, and a god killer. And they cannot find out about his quest, but together they must journey. I'm down. I'm so down. Like, gods, god killers, someone on a secret quest that no one knows about. I need this. I need this to be good. And also, this cover is just darling, and I need it. It just speaks to my very soul. The next book I have here is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This is released on the 17th. And when Louise and Mark lose their parents at the end of the pandemic, they're left the house. And both in struggling situations, they decide the best way forward is to sell the house. The thing is, when they arrive, things are covered, mirrors are covered, the windows are boarded up. They are shocked that the house is in disarray. And the thing is maybe the house is a bit more sinister than they remember. And how do you sell a haunted house? I like it. I like the sound. I like the premise. I hope this is the Grady Hendrix that really kicks me into liking his work, because I've had just middle of the road experiences and I would really like to be wowed. The next book we have here is Just My Type by Fallon Ballard. This comes out on the 7th of February, and this is an adult romance. We follow Fallon, who is never normally single for long, but she is determined to stay single, and she is a journalist. She's ready to get stuck in at her work until her ex-high school boyfriend arrives, in a journalist in his own right, and together they must go down to the Battle of Wits to get the illustrious columnist job they both want. And Lana's going to write about being single and embracing it, being a good boyfriend and settling down, and the most popular column wins. But I have a funny feeling feelings are going to get involved, hearts are going to get meshed, things aren't going to go exactly the way that we think they're going to go, or maybe they are. I'll have to read and just see how predictable it is. The next book I have here is The Spite House by Johnny Compton. This comes out on the 7th. It is an adult gothic horror. In this, we follow Eric Ross, who is on the run with his 2 children in tow. He is running from something that he does not understand, and neither do you. He then sees an advertisement for a job and he needs money. So what better way to get money than apply? The only thing is, it is the Mason House, notorious for being the most haunted house in Texas. The job, to go there and record any weird and strange ongoings. Eric decides this is the perfect thing for him and his girls, and goes. But things are weird and strange things start happening. Then he realizes this may be a way to get answers to his family's secret. This sounds good. Haunted house, someone on the run, family secrets, maybe powers. I don't know. I'm going to read it and find out. The next book we have here is The Last Tales of the Flower Bride. This is released on the 14th, and it is an adult fantasy. In this, we follow the bridegroom, who is hooked on fairy tales and thinks he's found his very own when he marries Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. Her one stipulation is he never pries into her past. He agrees, they get married, but then her aunt gets unwell and they have to return to her childhood home, the dream house. And here there's whispers of something another girl, secrets, stories, and the bridegroom might not be able to contain his fascination with the mysterious Maxwell Indigo Castaneda. This sounds like Mexican Gothic, and I'm down. Fantasy Mexican Gothic sounds so cool, and I'm in. The next book I have here is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This will be released on the 21st. This is an adult mystery thriller. In this, we follow Alex, who almost gives up her dream of being a published novelist when she gets invited to an illustrious exclusive writing retreat. So she is ready to go and meet a famous author and write. But when she gets there, things aren't as they seem, and this turns into a challenge. The first person to write a novel in 30 days will win a 7-figure publishing deal. But then a snowstorm hits, people start disappearing, and maybe murder is afoot. And she is determined to get down to the bottom of it. Sounds good. Book about writers, cozy, snowy, stormy, isolated setting. I'm ready. This is like NaNoWriMo mystery thriller, and it sounds great. The next book I have here is The Foxglove King by Hannah F. Witten. This is an adult fantasy, and this follows Laura, who escaped a cult when she was 13. She has the ability to use mortem magic, which is completely forbidden and only allowed to be used by warrior monks that are sanctioned to use it by the sainted king. So when she is revealed using this magic, she is taken to the warrior monks and then stationed inside the sanctioned king's glittering court, where she can trust no one and lies, betrayal, and politics run awry. Ready. Sign me up. The next book is Missing Clarissa by Ripley Jones. This is released on the 7th of March. It is a YA mystery thriller. In this, we follow two friends who start a true crime podcast. But in doing so, they may have just helped a killer. In 1999, a cheerleader vanished and it was never found from a field party. The police interviewed and tried to find answers, but just couldn't. But this small town is hiding so many more secrets. So 20 years later, when Blair and Cameron are doing this podcast, they start to uncover some web of lies, and maybe they will find answers. Or will they ruin an innocent man's life while letting a killer go free? I'm down. YA mystery thriller podcast element, which I really love. This sounds good. I hope it's executed well. The next book I have here is The Adventures of Amina Sarafi. This is by S.A. Chakraborty, and this is released on the 7th, and it is an adult fantasy book. In this, we follow Amina, who is ready to live a contented life now that she is retired. She was one of the most notorious storied pirates of the sea, and she is ready to put her family first. The thing is, she's approached with an offer no bandit can refuse, and she decides that she's going to help her compadre get back his kidnapped daughter. She takes to the seas for one last adventure, but the thing is not all is as it seems, and this one adventure may cost her her very soul. I didn't get onto the City of Brass hype when it came out, so I'm hoping I can get onto it now, and I also hope that I can enjoy more pirate books, because it's not something I read much of, so I feel like it's out of my comfort zone, which I am trying to do a bit more now. The next book I have here is The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. This is released on the 21st. It is a YA fantasy. In this, we follow Ava and Kay, and they're best friends, but one night the barrier to their town is blown to shreds and the vampires get through. Ava is turned into a vampire and Kay's mother is killed. Kay then goes to be a witch in training, and Ava is stuck at home with her mum trying to hide the fact she's a vampire, because she also has her witch magic as well, so she needs to balance out the two. The thing is her mum has pretty dire plans for the town, so Ava decides that she needs to run outside the barrier into the woods to find vampires that will help her. In doing so, Kay joins this quest, now a fully fledged flame witch, and together they must go through the rough of the woods and help each other survive. I mean, I'm down. Vampires, witches, this is queer, I'm down. This sounds like my cup of tea. And that was the last book. So those are the books that I'm excited for January to March. If you would like to see more of these videos, I will be doing one every 3 months. The next one should come out the end of March roughly, so if you're interested in that, Subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about any of these books like I am, and I thank you so very much for watching. Remember to stay safe, happy and healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye!
She went away on Christmas Day, didn't come back till New Year. He thought everything had changed, but it was all